It's weather-weenies on a Friday, preceding a big shift in the weather. I'm Alan Holt, Ryan Breton, and together we're your weather-weenies this Friday, and quite the shakeup headed our way.
Depending on when you're watching this, it's either already pouring rain or the wind is howling, or maybe it's already gone by if you're watching this Saturday afternoon or Sunday.
I was looking at the map closely earlier with you, and I was wondering exactly where it was because I was thinking of coining a term for this storm.
Let's hear it. I haven't heard it.
The Quebec Crusher.
There you go. That kind of works. It kind of works.
It wasn't right over, or like taking a path right over Quebec.
It's going over the province, though.
You know,
kind of.
I guess
that extends back west. It's like just west of Montreal right now. I know Ottawa's there, but it's like straddling.
I don't know.
line.
I don't know if it'll catch on or whatever, but since we're naming them like Alberta Clippers,
right?
The Saskatchewan.
This is weird.
Steamer.
This one is it's not all that often something comes down like this, which is kind of how this energy did it. Kind of cool.
I think that high has a lot to do with
100%.
Yeah,
it's what you call a ridge runner almost in some respect.
Yeah, it's riding it.
Maybe
for
pull
sure.
up this upper level chart, and so there's the ridge of high pressure, and then there's the energy.
It's like a slide.
Pivoting.
Boom, there it goes. Right, and we're at the base of the slide.
Absolutely. I'll jump ahead a little bit. Actually, you know what we'll do is let's just kind of give the overview of what the impacts are. First and foremost, I know we've talked a lot about rain, but wind is kind of a concern too for just southern Maine down through southern New Hampshire too.
Yeah, the gusts are going to be up. I mean, this is it's strong. It's a wound up low by the time it gets into like Gulf of Maine territory, and as it strengthens, easily 30 to 40 on the gusts. Probably some gusts. Like you've got there up to around 50 at the coast.
Yeah, I think 40. I feel like 40s are going to be more common, but up to 50 is why they issued this. And, northeast winds are a little bit more hardened too, but now there are leaves on the trees, so it may not take as much to knock down a limb and hit a line. Mm-hmm. And it does look like...
The sails are up.
Right, exactly. This is one... model output just as an example for when some of the strongest winds will be. And I picked a town in York County that I felt kind of represented the forecast for southern Maine. Mm-hmm. And you can clearly see it's that early morning hour of Saturday when it'll be strongest.
Yeah. I mean, that's when that low swings right by, you see where the model has it right there. I'm assuming that's around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
This is 6.
6 in the morning. Okay. Yeah. And it's just as you're close to that center, that's where the winds are rushing into the center of low pressure.
It's funny. Everything in this thing is super close to the center. The rain, the wind, it's a very compact
It's like tropical.
System. Yeah. Even though it's being driven by very cold air.
It's definitely not, but the impacts, the way they're so focused is very much the way a tropical feels.
Yeah, and this is, kind of probably the best idea for rainfall. And this is good in that we're going to, again, help out the part of the state that still is running the biggest groundwater deficit.
I think there will be zero severe drought next update.
Yeah, I would think
Thursday.
So, too.
Yeah, that's the May 28th update. I mean, we've dropped 50% on the severe category over the last 3 months. So.
Yeah, and if you compare to last October, which is here,
to huge improvement
where we are now, there you go. So
yeah, this is a beneficial rain. I could do without the temperatures that'll be associated with it Saturday, but I'm surprised that it's this beefy of a low coming in straight out of Canada.
Yeah, and it all has to do with the upper levels and the way that it gets cut off like that. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. There's one of the computer models just as an idea for the wind, and then in the afternoon it eases up, but it's still going to be chilly and blustery. And there also is a high surf advisory that's up for the coast. Nothing crazy. We don't expect coastal flooding. Tides are running astronomically low, actually, which is good.
That's interesting with the full moon.
A lot of times it's the new moon.
Okay, the new moon that gets it. It's not both ways.
It can be both, depending on the time of year.
Okay,
but in this case, the tides are. Let me see. I did look.
It was like a foot lower. I was looking at Ocean Park, and it was like 8.3 feet, maybe.
Yeah, Portland
on the high
is,
tide?
let's see, so it's 8.6
Okay.
Saturday morning, and flood stage is 12 feet.
Yeah.
So that buys
Way
you
below,
quite a bit
yeah.
of room.
And I think the waves were forecast, 6 to 9 feet on the wave heights. So,
and there can be a little localized beach erosion, but we should avoid like big splash over and stuff like that. It's just one of those heads up for anybody who's going to be at the beaches.
I do know that and you're familiar with this, in Ocean Park, I keep mentioning this because I'm familiar, but by Goose Fair Brook on the north side of it, the beach there has, according to my father-in-law, a huge cliff that typically is not there where the houses are.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Like Goose Fair will carve it out
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it'll carve it out like back in that marsh.
Yeah.
Where it comes under I guess that's what, Seaside?
Yeah.
And then it meanders in that marshy area.
It looks different every year.
Yeah, every year it's
but
different.
Right now there is this big cliff, and it's not windy, I feel like.
Yeah, because it's shooting out north.
Yeah.
The river or brook, or the locals call it the creek.
Well, maybe it'll get rearranged from the.
I hope
waves
so.
here.
Yeah, I hope it goes back to the way it typically is.
Jumping ahead a little bit as far as the rain goes, knowing a lot of you are going to watch this and it may already be happening. This is how one of our models shows Saturday morning at 6 a.m. It could be like slightly farther north, the rain edge at 6, but you get the idea that northern and eastern Maine are going to be dry at daybreak. Central Maine should be drying out, going to be wettest from about Sebago Lake south around 6 or 7 in the morning. And then it probably takes until about noon to get rid of the rain completely in York County. And then your afternoon is still going to be gusty and chilly, not as windy, but it's just kind of a raw feeling day. It's not a nice Saturday by any stretch if you've got plans.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point that our model is aggressive with how quickly it takes the rain out. I was looking at where it takes the low, and it drops it way south.
It does, yeah.
Instead of going more
Yeah.
east as it gets to like the sea coast. That's what a lot of the other guidance is doing, but ours wants to take it more south, which would take
and
the rain
it
out.
could play out that way. It's just like I feel like sometimes it's hard to be so precise with timing.
Yeah.
So you got to give a little wiggle room. That if it maybe you luck out and the steady rain ends somewhat earlier in the morning, but in southern Maine, particularly York County, you got to leave the window open through noon.
Yeah, I think that's the smart way to play it.
Then on Sunday, we have another piece of upper level energy that dives south, and we should have a really nice morning with sun, but then we destabilize things and pop up these showers in the afternoon.
Yeah, a few rumbles. I think it plays out a tick more coverage than it did yesterday, but same general idea.
And again, maybe a little hail, like baby hail out of these, nothing big. But it seems like on almost all the guidance, the most coverage is going to be in the western half of the state, the mountains, the foothills, perhaps down to the southern coast.
Yeah.
There may not be a ton.
Yeah, Eastern Maine looks way better as a whole all weekend long.
Definitely.
Eastern and Northern Maine, this is a better
Not going to be warm.
No.
It'll be a lot drier.
For sure.
And not as windy.
Yeah, yeah.
And yesterday we briefly mentioned, I think, about how the middle of next week there was a big split in how the models were handling the upper level winds. It's funny, the GFS, which was bad for us yesterday, now actually looks best for us. The others are somewhat murky Tuesday, Wednesday, but I think the end of next week we break out of this real chilly
Which is
stuff.
good. Yeah. Nice to see 80s coming back in there.
Yeah, I was a little afraid to put it on there on day 7, but like whatever.
Just go 90.
Got to give a little hope.
Just go 90.
I know, just go 90.
Just throw it out there.
Could be like 86 if we maximize the warming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the end of next week looks a little better. I was afraid to look at next weekend, so I have not done that yet because it's
got to get through this one first.
Got to get through this one first.
Also, a blue moon.
Yes.
4:45 in the morning on the 31st. So it'll be the most full Saturday night, but I think of it like birthdays. The day of the full moon / blue moon will be Sunday, the 31st. Do I have more time to talk about some of the variants?
Quickly.
Okay.
Go.
So
aren't there two definitions
there's two.
for a blue moon?
I'm going to say there's three,
Okay.
though. You've got the monthly version, which is the second full moon within one calendar month.
Yeah.
You've got the seasonal version, which is the third full moon within one season's time when there are 4 full moons, because there's usually only 3 per season. And then you have the idiom once in a blue moon.
One?
Once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
But I know that's
so
just
the idioms
jokes.
could come from either definition,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yeah. They're both rare. About 2 to 3 years on average every blue moon.
It seems like the monthly definition is the one people are most familiar with, right?
Yeah. But now the weenies know them all.
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
Mind bank that stuff.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. Enjoy the rain. Enjoy the cool down, however you'd like. Weather-weenies at newscentermaine.com. If you have any questions, we'll see you next week.